The battle for the Speaker of the House still looms. Unable to function without a speaker, a temporary speaker, Patrick McHenry. You can't bring bills to vote. There can be no speeches on the floor. The question is, will the war in Israel speed up a sense of urgency in Congress? NewsNation political contributors Chris Hahn and Mick Mulvaney are here with us now. Mick, obviously, the fact that Israel is one of our closest allies, even though there have been a lot of disagreements over Netanyahu's policies, I'll just leave it at that. The fact that they're at war, will that accelerate, will that prioritize getting a speaker sooner?
Maybe. I don't think it's going to do anything, Adrienne, immediately. Keep in mind, Congress wouldn't be voting on new legislation to increase spending or support to Israel for at least a couple of weeks. It wouldn't be something that it does right away. It would be doing something that's not as critical, but still important, like passing a joint resolution of the House and the Senate supporting Israel. The House doesn't look like it would be able to do that, so the resolution would only be brought from the Senate. Again, that's more of an international statement, international public relations thing than it is actual aid to Israel. So it would be a couple of weeks in any event. But granted, this is far from ideal. No one wants to be having the speaker fight in the middle of these extreme circumstances. So let's hope that it does start to move things in the right direction. But I don't think it has an impact for at least a couple of days.
Just one follow-up for you. We were speaking with Leland Vittert, and he was saying that there's this stockpile of weapons available to Israel right now on the ground. It's just that it has to be unlocked. Would it take an act of Congress to turn the key and allow Israel to use those weapons?
Typically, the answer would be sort of, maybe. I don't think so. It's sort of a gray area. The Pentagon will have ability to do things on an emergent basis. It will have ability to do things to continue to reinforce the relationships that we have. So it will not take an act of Congress to move that first level of sort of support to Israel. But anything beyond that, anything extraordinary, anything that's not contemplated in last year's bills, for example, would need new legislation. But typically, the Pentagon does have some flexibility going forward.
It's like every single week we have another tragedy, Chris, something that happens that we were all shocked by. What are the ramifications of not having a speaker at this particular point in our nation's history, in what's going on around the world, and just in general, towards the end of the year? The holidays are upon us.
Yeah. I think the events of this weekend should be sobering to the members of the House of Representatives, and it should light a fire under them to get a speaker in place, and not just any speaker, a speaker who is a serious person who could deal with these serious times. The names I've heard, particularly Jim Jordan, is not a serious person for these times. So I think that the House of Representatives have some soul searching to do, and they've got to find a leader pretty quickly that can help guide this country through this crisis that we are engaged in, whether we want to be or not. Israel is our closest ally in the Middle East, maybe one of our closest allies on the planet. We will stand steadfast with them. And the House of Representatives at some point, and as Mick correctly pointed out, probably not for a couple of weeks, maybe even months, will need to appropriate new funding and give new authorizations for the United States to enter and help our ally.
Mick, you were in Congress during Operation Pillar of Defense, Israel's 2012 military operation in the Gaza Strip. How critical was U.S. military aid in that effort? I think that it's really important, especially in dealing with Israel, that we put all of this in historical context, because none of this happens in a vacuum. And the ongoing conflict between Palestinians and Israelis has a lot of legs. So have we often given money to support their military efforts in a situation? I know there's not been anything like this for quite some time, but similar to this?
Yeah, we've been supporting the Israelis for literally decades. We also support the Egyptians. We give money to the Palestinians as well. But more importantly, I think right now is that ongoing relationship in terms of support with intelligence. We'd be helping them with information. There'll be some really significant questions going forward. Now is not the time to ask those questions as to what happened with this intelligence materials. Why did Israel, and maybe even us, not be able to see this coming from afar? Or did we see it and not do anything about it? Again, this is not the time for that conversation, but those relationships don't get turned on and turned off with a vote of Congress. They are there every single day. Chris is right. This is one of our closest allies. It's a nuclear power. We are sharing information with them every single day. We're sharing technology with them every single day. We're sharing people with them every single day, helping each other learn on things like the Iron Dome missile defense system, which was built out of our Patriot system. So the relationship is there and it's ongoing. Chris is right. This is far from ideal. The House needs to start moving towards having a speaker. There's no question. But in these early days of the battle, I don't think it moves the needle one way or another not having a speaker.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.